Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. First, a community shared in its grief last night in an emotional tribute marking a year since the Hillcrest primary school tragedy where 6 children lost their lives. Among those at the memorial was a brave young boy who was friends with all 6 and had his own special way of honouring their memories.
Beneath the symbol of a state's broken heart lied tributes from the most heartbroken. Devonport's collective family expressed its pain, its grief and its love for the 6 children who lost their lives a year ago today.
It was very fun hanging out with them and I never got to say goodbye. And I miss them so much.
14-year-old Riley Kay was friends with all 6. He wishes they could have joined him in his first year of high school.
I was just happy for them to come into race this year, but they didn't get to experience it.
We're going to go home tonight and play some Fortnite games and in honour of the boys that were into their computer games, hey mate.
In a tearful tribute, families chose their favourite photographs to be shown on screen.
We will never be able to truly walk in the shoes of those that have lost so much.
Their tributes were the first to be placed. Patiently and emotionally, they left a piece of their hearts there as well, before the broader public added its touch.
A wonderful event on such a tragedy of a circumstance.
As the sun sets on this memorial, its flowers and messages will soon be preserved alongside the tributes left to the school last year. They'll later form part of a permanent feature to be designed according to the wishes of the families involved.
This is just a temporary tribute that will stay here for 3 days. Next year, the state government will be involved in organising a more permanent memorial.
That is all to come. Last night was about reflection and many chose to go through that process together. Local churches combined to provide a solemn yet unifying service on the hardest of days. Its message, forever loved. Zane, Peter, Jai, Jalila, Chase and Addison.
Trying to deal with those things yourself to help the kids overcome it, but yet try and overcome it yourself as an adult. It's been hard, yeah, very hard.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
A concerning spike in shoplifting and antisocial behaviour in the state's capital has prompted a new campaign to keep the community safe this festive season. Crime Stoppers has teamed up with the Hobart City Council to push the message and deter offenders, while encouraging witnesses to report any concerning incidents.
They shoplift, they yell, they swear, they push people around, they bag snatch. And that's just completely unacceptable from Tasmania Police's point of view.
Enough's enough. We've got to look after our retailers. I mean, their job during this period is busy and hard enough, and they don't need to be facing that form of violence.
The Shop Safe initiative will run throughout the entire summer in a hope to crack down on crime. 2 Tasmanian hospitals have escalated to level 3 of their COVID management plans. The escalation coming into place at the Royal Hobart and Launceston General Hospitals this afternoon. Urgent elective surgeries and appointments will continue. Non-urgent services will be reviewed based on operational requirements. Both hospitals will allow 1 visitor per patient for 1 hour between 2 and 7 p.m. And new COVID cases in Tasmania have steadied, with more than 4,000 new infections recorded in the past week. It brings the state's number of total cases to more than 270,000 since this time last year. Meanwhile, 88 hospital patients are infected with the virus, 24 of those being treated specifically for COVID, and 2 people are in intensive care. The AFL is tipping in $15 million towards Hobart's proposed stadium. The state government is welcoming the news but needs to convince the federal government and private partners to also get on board. The stadium is expected to cost $750 million. A former automotive building at Youngtown has sustained further damage after a fire this afternoon. It's understood the occupant was cleaning up the building and a fire got away from him and burned other materials.
This building had a previous fire in it a number of years ago, therefore it presented a number of hazards for our firefighters entering in BA, as the structural integrity had to be checked for them to work their way and actually locate the fire.
The occupant was treated for potential smoke inhalation and investigation is underway. It has been a chilly start to summer, but those heading out on the water are being reminded of the risks they face. Marine and Safety Tasmania's new advertising campaign is using some familiar faces to get its message across. Weather conditions are one of the big dangers to those enjoying the rivers and the sea.
People aren't checking the weather as much as they should, and when they do, a lot of them don't understand the actual relevance of the weather forecasts.
We have had ones in the river, have one in the river this week as well, so it can happen close to home, but when it happens further out, there's more time for us to respond and as a result, greater risk for those that we're trying to help.
Part of the campaign also focuses on paddle crafts, which is becoming more and more popular in the state. An eclectic exhibition will open its doors to the public this Sunday, featuring work from 150 students across more than 25 Tasmanian schools. The annual Art Rage program provides emerging Year 11 and 12 artists a platform to showcase their learning using a diverse range of mediums.
I'm really impressed with the work, the quality of work, the colour, the shapes, the sizes, the themes. I'm really impressed the way it's come together, and I hope the audience will be too.
Since 1994, Art Rage has provided a wonderful opportunity for students in years 11 and 12 to reflect their thoughts, their ideas, their dreams and desires, a great reflection of the work that happens in TCE art.
The exhibition will be on display at Launceston's QV Mag until April next year before touring the Northwest Coast and Hobart. A prominent Tasmanian winery owner has paid homage to his beginnings. Joseph Cromy, who escaped communist Czechoslovakia, today launched a scholarship to help those who have immigrated here get back into their qualified field of work.
Going back to how it all started, Joseph Cromy giving Tasmanian migrants some words of advice.
Building up a business or working and making business. It is possible.
Today awarding the inaugural Joseph Cromy Migrant Scholarship at the Migrant Resource Centre North.
Mr Cromy, as one of the most successful migrants in Tasmania, recognising and never forgetting the barriers and where he came from.
The idea for the scholarship stemmed from winning the Ethnic Business Awards last year, Mr Cromy donating the awards funds to the program. Removing barriers experienced by those migrant job seekers its aim, with the target recipients those who arrived in the state as adults and have been unable to secure work in their pre-arrival fields.
What it means is they're able to get a hand up, to get a little bit of assistance to follow their dreams and assistance to do practical things like buy equipment, have a course, undertake a course, and also to just have a goal, something to look forward to and something to aspire to.
3 migrants received the grants. Tong fled Malaysia in 2019 and his career in solar installation. Tekle, a former truck driver in his home of Ethiopia, and Estefanos, a lawyer unable to practice in Australia without resitting his whole degree.
Graduated in law and I was working also in the legal field. I was a public prosecutor and later I was promoted to a regional public prosecutor.
The scholarship helping his return to uni and inspiring him to give back in the future.
Also give me a responsibility to again give back to the community around me.
The grant's second round opens in January. Talia Jordan, 7 Tasmania News.
And the Migrant Resource Centre North today launched its Welcome Disability Service. The support service provides tailored support for anyone from culturally diverse backgrounds with their disabilities and NDIS assistance. The initiative, one of the resource centres.
It was to meet the need of a number of humanitarian entrants coming into Tasmania living with disability and the lack of specialist called services for NDIS in Tasmania.
The program has been in the works since 2018. Tasmania's mountain biking narrative is on track to rival world-class trails with a new addition to Georgetown's landscape. Dozens of new courses will welcome riding enthusiasts of all skill levels as the Tipperary Hills Network opens tomorrow.
Taking on the tracks of Georgetown will soon be even more daring, with 21 new trails ready to ride.
We're absolutely delighted what this will do for riding in the north and the northeast.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm a mountain biker myself, so any new trail to be able to ride is always exciting.
Biking enthusiasts are ready to roll with the Tipperary Trail opening tomorrow.
There are 35 kilometres of rideable trail that complement the existing 35 kilometres of rideable trail at Mount George.
It's a really nice product because it does have a lot of green trails, has some blue trails and also some more challenging trails for all skilled riders.
Employees of Bell Bay Aluminium, owners of the land, have named some of the tracks using smeltering puns like anode effect and Illuminati, with one of the extreme trails taking on a different meaning.
The last one, which we've adopted, is Devil's Elbow. So that's a particularly dangerous section of the Tamar River, Katamaloka, and it just works perfectly for a double black diamond trail.
A thrilling new addition to the region, which is receiving positive feedback from locals.
I hear exciting words like sick and rad and all sorts of things. So I'm taking that as meaning that everybody is really excited.
Setting the wheels in motion for a welcome boost to the region.
We're really looking forward to seeing riders who want to sample what we've got on offer down here this Christmas. Come and have a ride, and we look forward to hosting you.
Christmas coming early for locals and visitors, with plenty of trails to try. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, 1 in 6 young Australians are slipping through the cracks as their education falls victim to financial hardship. An Australian charity is stepping in to help, launching its Christmas appeal while marking a major milestone.
The Smith family has spent the last 100 years striving to break the cycle of disadvantage. The charity's devotion stronger than ever as it launches its annual Christmas appeal.
We nominally aim to raise about $60,000 in Tasmania, and Tasmanians have always been very, very generous.
The funds will deliver mentoring programs to students grappling educational inequality caused by poverty.
A really good example of that is a program called Student to Student, which is a peer reading program where we match an older student with good reading skills with a younger student who needs to catch up.
We don't want to deny any child their right to a full education and to be able to contribute as much as they truly can in our community.
The organisation is currently working with more than 30 schools across the state, Moona Primary one of its newest partners.
We want to make sure that every learner is at school every day, getting the most out of their learning opportunities, and the Smith family just breaks down some of those barriers for our families.
Kids, if they don't have the right help, they will fall behind and they will feel like they're being left out.
The Smith family is asking Tasmanians to give the gift of financial relief this Christmas by donating to the online appeal. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's LGBTQIA community is set to gather tomorrow night for a Christmas party with a twist. One of Launceston's oldest pubs has been playing host to Mood since March, providing a much-needed platform for local queer artists.
The big man in red prepares to preside over the jolliest of parties. Emerging artists from Tasmania's queer community are taking over the Oak for Mood's first Christmas extravaganza.
So this is kind of a bit of a hurrah for the community to get together and really kind of get it all out of your system.
Local rockers will be getting the party started before drag queens and burlesque dancers take over the stage.
So last Mood I did a burlesque performance where I bathed in spaghetti, but we will see me doing something more of the high-end drag style this time.
It's not just fun and games. Organisers say it can be tough for Launceston's LGBTQIA community to find spaces where they can be themselves.
We're a couple of queer bars short of a picnic, so it's good to be able to have this space come along.
Seeing a need to fill that lack, Mood started up in March and it's already got a loyal following, including among the Oak's own staff.
It's awesome to have people like you and everyone in general just to come together, and everyone's so lovely and so nice.
We're a baby, but we're a really hot baby with heaps of friends.
Partygoers are being encouraged to dress up and get in on the fun, with prizes for the best dressed on the night.
It's really more important to me that those crowds are getting together to meet each other. You know, we don't always have an opportunity to meet people like us.
Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Will Magnay has opened up on the tough journey to getting back out on court with his Jack Jumpers teammates. Coach Scott Roth believes his return to peak performance is only just getting started as the side gears up for an important clash at home.
He's the star recruit who's had little time to shine in green, but Will Magnay's now making up for lost minutes.
Magnay athletically grabbed that one out of the sky and then kicks it out for Doyle.
It's pretty cool to finally feel like a basketball player again and not just a spectator on the sideline.
Plagued by injury and sidelined for weeks, getting back out on the floor hasn't been without its challenges for the Star centre.
There's more bad days than good days for sure. You know, I try to keep the mindset of little wins, like, you know, first day running again. No matter how it feels, you know, at least I'm running again.
Linking up with a smooth-moving Milton Doyle, the pair's connection is producing results for Tasmania.
We talk a lot during the day, just trying to learn. I guess I try and learn what he prefers to do and try and get a sense of where he likes the ball.
6 weeks on the road has now come to an end for the squad. Finally back at home this weekend, where they'll take on dangerous competition in the Cairns Taipans.
We'll have to work extra hard against them if we can get a win. They present just a lot of problems with their scoring and the size of them, and we'll have our hands full.
Still riding a high from an electric finish against the ladder leaders, the Jack Jumpers are going in with confidence to produce in front of Ants fans.
We've had a full week to practice and prepare and get a game plan together, so if we execute that, I feel pretty good about it.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
The late, great Shane Warne has been honoured by his old Big Bash club, the Melbourne Stars, retiring his number 23 from the franchise ahead of tonight's game against the Hurricanes. Pakistani import Shadab Khan took the Hurricanes' first wicket of the season, dismissing former Hurricane Tom Rogers for 20. Before another debutant, Paddy Dooley, chimed in, removing Marcus Stoinis for his second duck in 2 games.
Bowled! Dooley gets Stoinis. His first BBL wicket. It's a big name, and it was a beauty.
The Melbourne Stars scored 5 for 183 from their 20 overs. With the women's Big Bash over, it's back to the 50-over game for the Tasmanian Tigers women's side. They'll be led for the first time by new coach Jude Coleman. Skipper Elise Villani says she's brought her taste in music along with some solid principles for the side.
She spoke about communication and, you know, team first, and then she spoke about country music. So she lost me on the third one.
I've just had a playlist going in the net, so I'm going to say I'm a lot further ahead of where I thought I would be at this point.
For the record, her favourite artist is Luke Combs. They're playing New South Wales on Sunday. And with the test against South Africa starting tomorrow, tonight's Friday flashback is to when Tasmania took on the Proteas in Devonport 25 years ago. Now, the result meant little, but what's long forgotten is a ball tampering controversy which surfaced during this match, exposing cracks in South African skipper Hansie Cronje's career. Bracing for South Africa's brunt in 1997, David Boone was excited to host some of his old international foes.
Just half a dozen tests that I played, I really enjoyed those. They're very similar to us in their attitude and the way that they play.
And although on paper you'd expect South Africa to win in a walkover, the Tasmanians stood up to the tourists.
And what about the timing of that one?
Bernie's Sean Young brought up a century on Devonport Oval. He was joined on triple figures by a big swinging Dan Marsh.
Oh, you just ran down the wicket and hoiked him over mid-wicket.
Declaring at 5 for 535, Mark Ridgway had a moment to savour, clean bowling one of the game's greats, Jacques Callis.
And bowled him!
But the touring side skipper put an end to all the fun.
That is a 50, a battling 50 for Hansie Cronje.
Hansie Cronje proved why he was so admired by his countrymen, knocking 165 runs. Ultimately, the match ended in a draw, but on the final day, things really took a twist. Cronje was hauled in front of the global media in Devonport to answer claims of ball tampering in an ODI at the SCG the week before.
I can't certainly remember the incident. My mind was racing at the time and I can't even remember what I did to the ball. Apparently I chucked it on the ground and stood on it.
He was ultimately cleared, but his spectacular fall from grace came 3 years later when he confessed to match fixing during a tour of India.
Yes, I accepted money from bookmakers. Yes, I was trying to feed them information.
South Africa's national hero was banned from cricket for life. The sad tale ending when Cronje was killed in suspicious circumstances when his plane mysteriously crashed in 2002.
He'll only be remembered for the scandal that he caused, and it's very sad for himself and his family.
A tarnished reputation, but a brilliant cricketer, one which Devonport saw a glimpse of 25 years ago this week.
Good evening. 15 for Hobart today. The northern centres all reached 18 degrees. Still not ideal, but, you know, we can't moan about it all the time. The cold air stream was over us again. The temperatures below average. Lowhead, Bushy Park and Strawn all 19. King Island 18. St Helens 16 today. Flinders Island and Friendly Beaches 15 degrees. Most of the cloud today gathered over southern, eastern and central areas. Plenty of low cloud too over the coastal Victoria, New South Wales and South Australia. An active band over Central Australia and storms over the north. Tomorrow, the high slowly approaches the state. The troughs continue over the north of the country. Winds south-southeasterly again reaching 25 knots over the northeast and central west, more variable over the north. And we have a minor flood warning. That's current for the Macquarie and South Esk rivers. Here's the forecast for tomorrow. 17 for Hobart with a shower or two. Maydena cloudy and 18. 15 the top for Oatlands. Launceston tomorrow shooting for a high of 22, mostly sunny. 21 the high for Devonport. Partly cloudy for Lyowini, a cold night, but 16 tomorrow. 18 the top for Burnie, a mostly sunny. Sunny 2 for Strawn. 20 the high and 18 for Marrawar. And in the east, fine for St Helens and also Orford, but a shower or two forecast for Swansea. 16 there. UV heading up to an extreme 11. Fine and partly cloudy on Sunday right across Tasmania. Fine as well on Monday, still coolish over the south and east. And on Tuesday another fine mostly sunny day, some cloud though over the east again. Sunny tomorrow in Perth and Adelaide, partly cloudy and 22 in Melbourne. A shower forecast for Sydney, 21 the high and possibly over Brisbane as well. Bit of cloud over Hobart, it's 13. Sunny in Launceston, 17 at the moment and 16 right now in Devonport. Many people have said I've had a very easy week this week, Kim, but I can tell you the weekend's going to be very busy. I've got a big project on. I'm going to try to put together a hide and seek tournament, but good players are hard to find.
Oh, that's not bad, Murph. We'll pay that for a Friday. That is all your news for now. We'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us tonight. You can see Louise over the weekend. For now, it's good night.